Welcome to the Reshaping the Demand of Tourism in the New Norm and Beyond session. My name is Dinesh and I am the moderator for this session. The tourism industry is one of the largest and fastest growing sectors in Malaysia and is also loved by tourists for a visit in Southeast Asia. Malaysia welcomed a massive 13.35 million foreign tourists and reported a rise of 6.8% in tourist receipts, thus contributing 41.69 billion ringgit to the revenues of the nation during the first half of 2019. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, losses suffered by the country's tourism and culture industries in the first half of 2020 amount to around 45 billion ringgit. This topic aims to discuss the strategies that can be used in reshaping the demand of tourism in the new norm and beyond the traditional method, we travel, as well as to improve the consistent, extraordinary experience. The video that is being played showcases the projects successfully executed by our panelists today. These projects are a leading example of how a business quickly adapted to the changing environment to stay resilient. Let us welcome our panelists for this virtual roundtable discussion. It gives me great pleasure to invite Ms. Rachel Lam, co-founder of Local, to give a short introduction of herself.
Hi, I'm Rachel Lam. I'm the co-founder of Local, and we've been around since 2016. We have a travel marketplace where we connect people to unique local activities and experiences in Malaysia. And since last year, we've also been using virtual reality to help digitalize businesses and landmarks, including hotels, resorts, and attractions like the National Mall, Smart Marriott Cultural Village.
I would like to request for both of our panelists to switch on their camera. All right, great, Mr. Justin, and for Ms. Rachel, perfect. All right. Thank you, Ms. Lam. Now, I would like to get Mr. Justin Ng, Vice President of Product Development of Holiday Tours and Travel, to introduce himself. Please join me to give a warm welcome to Mr. Ng.
Hi, everyone. I just do a quick introduction about myself. This is Justin from Holiday Tours and Travel. So I have been in this industry for about 7 years to 8 years. Eventually, Holiday Tours is what we call DMC, also a travel agent, where it has been in the industry for 45 years. Our major business are actually the travel line business, which is we serve leisure client and also our corporate client. That's our main source of the business. So definitely during this pandemic, we actually met a lot of challenge. We also have facing a lot of difficulties. So I'm happy to share. So probably later on, we can actually speak more. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ng. Without further ado, I would like to start our session. To begin with our roundtable discussion, the first question is, can you tell us what the impact of the pandemic has on your company performance the whole of last year? Ms. Lam, will you please share with us?
So since the start of last year, we already noticed that there was a decline in our bookings, especially since our marketplace, we have a customer base of at least 85% of foreign travelers. So it definitely impacted a lot in terms of bookings and revenue. So the first thing we did was start a video marketing platform where we showcase what there is to see and eat in Malaysia, such as road trips, restaurants, and local attractions, which helped to bring in some advertising revenue. But then when March came, that was when MCO started. And not only did we have 0 bookings, we couldn't even go out to do video shooting. So it was quite a challenging time. So we had to keep our costs low, we take pay cuts and as well as move offices. But it was also during this time that we decided to do something different. So the first thing we did was roll out our online experiences, where we allowed some of our existing local hosts, or what we call local experts, to conduct their online classes and experiences with people from around the world. And at the same time, we use this as an opportunity to start building our skills, to start our virtual reality division. So our team, our core strength is in technology and storytelling. So by leveraging on these strengths, we picked up all the skills we needed to get the department going. And so in a way, the pandemic did impact us, but we came out from the first MCO with something new.
That's great. I believe your company has adapted to the situation rather quickly since you're experts in technology. Thank you, Ms. Lam. What about you, Mr. Ng?
What happened last year that we have is I still remember very much is when I first, because I actually went to my holiday during February last year, during the Chinese year. So once I landed, I actually got a phone call from my client saying, "Oh, Justin, we need to cancel the groups." So that actually shocked me. And I remember I still dragging my luggage in KLIA. So that's a big group that we have where client actually travel to Langkawi. They're going to do events there for incentive. So this is the first thing that we actually get. Then once we get back to office, we notice that there's a lot of calls coming in because we are doing with corporate and also for leisure business. The major first impact would be the leisure client. They would say that, "Oh, I wouldn't want to travel. I feel not safe right now." Then secondly, which is corporate, where come in, which is everybody starts saying that, "Oh, my company will impose this policy, that policy. So we can't actually travel during this period of time." So that is something that hit us very bad. And significantly during February itself, we can see that a big, huge drop of the numbers that are actually coming in, especially for the bookings or the cancellation. We talked to a lot of airlines. We talked to different of the vendor suppliers that start talking about refund. Can we carry forward? Some of the clients still paying high hope that they can travel after probably June and so on. But when it comes to the MCO fully locked down during March, that's the whole situation turned worse because getting more and more people getting nervous. They start calling in and talking to us what happened right now. So that is the thing that happened to us for the entire 2020. So until even right now, today, clients are still calling in to ask about the refund, cancellation, all those things. Is there any possibility they postpone? And of course, we try to do something for them because that is our regular client. Yeah.
I believe that the pandemic has really brought this industry of tourism to a halt, and the fact that a lot of entertainment, a lot of our tourism industry, our economy actually relies a lot on tourism industry as it contributes the most to our economy. Thank you, Mr. Ng. Now move to our second question. Tell us if there is any projects that your company has embarked on to remain resilient and recover from the effects of the pandemic. Starting with Ms. Lam.
Okay, so our most significant change is definitely starting local VR. That's 100% our MCO baby. So basically with this division, we've been helping to create virtual tours for businesses. So when we first started offering this service, the first thing we did was spend 2 weeks to create over 140 virtual tours in Malaysia, where we highlight the most beautiful locations in the country using 360 degrees. And when we first posted it online, the response was really good. In the first week, we had about 600,000 views from almost 50 countries, and they were all saying, "Okay, I've never seen this side of Malaysia before." And that was when we started getting some requests for people who wanted to use virtual tours. We also started approaching our existing partners and helping them to create virtual tours, including hotels and attractions. So some of the projects we did is for the National Mosque. They have their own pool of guides, and they've always been, sharing about the attraction through their volunteer guides. And during this time, they actually got our service to help them digitalize the National Mosque and allow their guides to use this tour to conduct their own virtual tours. At the same time, we also realized that tourism was not expected to recover as fast as we expect. So we took these skills to diversify into horizontal segments. So on top of tourism, we also focus on other sectors, including property, space rental, healthcare, commercial, shops, restaurants, and even factories. So earlier this year, we were appointed by Malaysian Timber Council to help timber-related companies. So at least, we have something else on top of tourism to help us stay afloat. And that for us, being resilient is about adapting fast, finding opportunities, using our existing resources, and just really going full force with it.
600,000 views, that's honestly really amazing. I believe your project has been widely exposed to a lot of the exposure into our industry. And Mr. Ng, what about your company?
For us, what happened, because our main core was still with travel, so what happened, the company still say that we do whatever that actually we used to. So continuously what happened is we actually come up with a lot of domestic products. Just to be very frank to everyone, I think holiday tours, our main source of the business are actually outbound for most of the time. So we do send a lot of clients or incentive group to overseas. But where else that for domestic market, or what we call the inbound market, would be considered the smallest share in the company. So immediately what happened is since everybody being locked down, they can't actually travel overseas. So what we're trying to do is we actually sell very attractive deal, different kind of packages to actually attract our client, because we understand that our client are more into affluent market. They really need to actually travel because they want to be safe. They want to go to a resort. They don't want to stay at home because they get very bored. So what happened is the packages that we launched, we try to actually look into the demographic, the client that we have, what kind of demographic they have, and we come up with those packages that actually suit their taste. And this is where we actually promote to them. We don't really come up with a lot of different ideas as how Rachel, local, they come up with VR different thing, because that is not our thing to do. But we also, like right now, we actually, Tourism Malaysia actually pump in about 12 million in Shopee. We actually started to get into e-commerce to actually upload those packages into an e-commerce platform. And apparently we get very good feedback, about 500 overbooking for the last 1 week. So something positive for us, and definitely we actually do all kinds of checks and research, and also getting different feedback from the client, see what they want, and also looking to are they actually keen to travel overseas when actually borders open. So we actually try to still keep in touch and engage with the client, because we are still hoping that by 2022, early of Q1 or Q2, the borders being reopened, then everybody can start travel. And of course, right now, the Ministry of Tourism, they say that they're going to open up the travel bubble, and the PM, they say they're going to open up the travel bubble for Bali. So right now, the client also quite keen. They have started to come in to talk to us, say that, Justin, do you have any this package, any this hotel? We want to actually talk about it right now. So can you actually share some information to us? So because we can't actually stay at home, and we want to get out from our house, get our ass moved, and actually go to the destination. So this is something that we are still continuing to do, because I think what the company want is we still want to provide quality travel experience to our clients. So we doesn't switch really far, but we keep whatever things that we do, we focus, and this is what we're doing now.
I think it's great how your company actually took into consideration about a lot of things when you developed your domestic package. And that's really admirable to see how you're actually taking the opportunity to actually reach out to as many people as you can during this situation. Moving on to our third question. In your opinion, what are the domestic demands for tourism in the future? Ms. Lam, please share with us your opinion.
Hello. Okay, so I would say that as domestic tourism opens up, there'll be a lot of it's centered on specific destinations. So certain destinations such as Cameron Highlands, and even all the different islands in Malaysia will definitely see an uptick, and even it's sort of going to encourage more people to get out there and see what Malaysia has, but it's also going to hopefully we're hoping that this can help to recover tourism in the future.
All right, and Mr. Ng, do you agree with Ms. Lam? What are your thoughts?
I will definitely, yes. Even right now, I think even yesterday we actually announced that our CMCO will extend it until the end of this month, and our Prime Minister said that we will not actually practice MCO again. So they will actually do RMCO or CMCO or EMCO in certain area if let's say they notice that the number actually spike up. Apparently, like this few days, the numbers of calls that has been coming in, client has been WhatsApp us and actually drop an inquiry. They want to start looking at island like Langkawi. They're looking at Cameron resorts. They're looking at outskirts, which is places not like city. So this is definitely, I will have to say, people they are actually keen to travel. Just a matter of time when the government actually announced that we are back to our RMCO and interstate travel are actually allowed. I will have to strongly say that yes, people will really want to actually get out right now.
All right, thank you very much for sharing a very insightful perspective on the domestic demand. Our next question is, the Malaysian government is keen to create travel bubbles with designated countries. What are the opportunities that you can take advantage of when that happens? What do you think, Ms. Lam?
So for us being a technology company, we really want to support, destination marketing in a new norm. And we do that by helping our local players adapt the technology and help to promote their intangible heritage. So for us, we are focused on, developing our VR streaming page so that people can see the beauty of Malaysia before they come. And at the same time, through our marketplace, when they arrive, they can tap into different activities that you can't usually find on your typical guidebook. So that's one way we can get people to know more about Malaysia in an insightful way. And at the same time, we actually have partners in other countries like Singapore and Thailand who have been eager to help to digitalize their businesses as well. So for us, even the travel bubble can help us get out there and allow us to do that.
I believe that the use of virtual reality, especially as the atmosphere we are in these days, where technology plays a huge part of our daily lives, I think it's a great use and advantage you have taken to use virtual reality into your company. And Mr. Ng, what about you?
Definitely right now we actually prepare ourselves for the travel bubble and also for 2022. Even right now we are actually talking with our supplier in terms of the overseas travel, all kind of regional travel that possible. Right now we actually start to do the talking. We are talking to Singapore, we are talking to Thailand, we are talking to Indonesia, we are talking with some of the cruises company. So right now we actually get the things ready. So once the green bubble being announced and open, I think because we actually do a small survey within our demographic, they will say that probably when the green bubble open, within probably 1 or 2 months, they were actually keen to actually travel. So this is one of the things that we actually some sort of like prepare our bullet first. So before the things are actually getting, once being announced, then I think the flow coming in will be eventually very fast, because I think this is something we're going to happen where we have opened up more and more travel bubble places. Like yesterday, we also have news talking about Taiwan that actually opened up travel bubble to one of the islands. So now some of the travel agents in Taiwan also, they are very busy about it because they want to know about what is the rules and regulation for people to fly in, and is there any availability of the flight and so on. So I think this will something happen very, very soon for us, where the travel bubble actually being allowed and being announced by the government.
All right. I believe that the knowledge shared by both the panelists will surely be beneficial for the attendees, especially students like me, to bring forward to the future. I pardon myself as I overlooked the question. I'm focusing on our question now. In your opinion, what are the domestic demands for tourism in the future? Ms. Lam, please share with us your opinion.
Definitely, there'll be more people who will be interested to see something out of the city. So during MCO, during the travel ban, because of the concerns about crowds. People would be looking to go to places that are lesser known, places with lesser crowds. So actually during CMCO, we noticed that more people were going for like things that were out of the city, places like Batang Kali, small villages and secondary towns. So basically, it would sort of encourage more people to see the things that are not just within the main cities, where there's a larger crowd and higher population, and we also see that there's it'll just have a more demand for nature as well. During the RMCO, we noticed that there were a lot of people going to Cameron, not only to see the common sites, but also to see the mossy forest. And it's definitely showing people like places that they've never known in their own country. But usually we're more catered to overseas clients.
All right, and Mr. Ng?
Yeah, I totally agree what Rachel said. Definitely right now, people are not looking at accommodation stay, a very ordinary travel. Even we have clients that actually come to us, they say, Justin, when I go Penang, what else I can do in Penang besides food or besides beach? So for us, we also change ourselves differently. We also talk to different of the supplier to bring in different kind of elements of the products, so we can actually spice up whatever things that we sell. We are not only selling hotels to them, we'll say that, that will be a very interesting tour where we go to Penang. Probably you want to join a private durian tour, that this is something that you can actually look into. So we can actually share this and tell the customer with our own experience or our own knowledge. Then client will most probably want to have those things, because being domestic market, the main challenge is everybody know what things happen in Malaysia. They know what's about it, but they want to actually find out what other things that I never experienced or I never know. So even we also come up with few different packages that are going to launch very soon in March. We ourselves, even like in Johor, that is a mosque, Indian mosque in Johor. I can't remember what it's about. So my team actually shared it to me. I said that I never heard about it. So I say that it's something that's very interesting for me. They say that, why don't I want to do a recce when actually the interstate travel a lot? I want to really go and see the mosque in Johor. It's an Indian mosque where I don't even know there's an Indian mosque that's very famous in Johor. So I think this is something that people wanted to see, but not only say that you come to tell me that, you stay in this hotel that is very good, you go and eat this food which is very good. So.
All right, I totally agree with both of you. And Mr. Ng, I am looking forward to your packages coming out in March. Moving on to our final question. In revitalizing your tourism business, what are the challenges that you can expect? Over to you, Ms. Lam.
So for us, since we mainly cater to expats and foreign travelers, so for us, it will still pick up a bit slowly. In terms of the domestic tourism, and for us there's still some ways to go before it really goes back to the way it was. So we're definitely focusing still on our VR and leveraging on this to do something different in terms of destination marketing. And another challenge we see is our new content. During the MCO, we have a lot of local hosts who decided to stop for a bit or only pick it up when things get better. So because a lot of them are either traditional artisans, home chefs, workshop owners on top of local guides, and we've always been creating exclusive content for them. So one thing we're hoping to do once this gets back to normal is to help them create new content using the new technology we have, especially since many things would have changed for them in the past year. And hopefully this would also help bring more awareness and more outreach to them.
What do you think, Mr. Ng?
The challenge that for future, what we think it's more probably the new style of travel, all kind of different regulations that probably apply, where it create different of uncertainties where people wanted to travel. I mean, this is some sort of a good thing to a travel agent like us, where client will engage us more. We think we see it as a positive challenge, okay? Because rather than the client actually go straight, they can actually come to us, then we can actually provide them more and more information. The major challenge right now would be the uncertainty and a lot of the changes that it might switch within a day or so on. So I think for us as a travel agent, we need to keep all this information with us, because once the government actually announce certain things, then immediately we need to cope with all kind of changes that we have. So I think the main challenge right now for us would be the what we call day-to-day changes. So we need to actually keep ourselves to the news day-to-day to make sure that we update everything. So because any news that being leaked out or being shared or being released, immediate the client will actually call us very, very fast, and they say that I want the solution. I want to know what happened. So this is our challenge right now.
All right, thank you, panelists, for sharing about the challenges. To conclude this session, both speakers have brought up some interesting points. I would like to highlight some of those points. So for question 1, we have the rollout online experience. We also have the local experts to conduct classes, as well as to leverage on the new technology, trying to come up with new products. We also have the leisure client, the first impact, the corporate client to start to pull out. We have the big decrease due to the cancellation. And lastly, today's situation that has not improved yet. Moving on to our second question, the significant change on local VR virtual tour to highlight beautiful locations in Malaysia and the good response when posted online. This helps clients to create virtual tours and digitalize the tour, and also give a diversity with the skills that we have. The resilience is to find opportunity fast and to take advantage of the trend. It is also to sell attractive packages to secure the clients. And lastly, to tailor different packages to suit different tastes. Moving on to our third question regarding domestic demand, the domestic tourism will center on a few destinations. It hopes that domestic tourism can help speed recovers. Moving on to our fourth question, we have the support destination marketing by using technology, to develop VR for people to see how beautiful Malaysia is, to help promote our tourism industry, to look forward and prepare to take advantage of travel bubbles, and lastly, to expect food demand when travel bubble is open. And our final question, we have to offer new tourism experience like durian tour to capture new market. The international tourism will slowly start to pick up to help local hosts to create new content from far more exposure and outreach. And lastly, to be adaptable and as well to be updated so that response to client will be fast. To conclude this session, I would like to have the polling results to be shown. Thank you to our participants for taking part. Starting with our first question, what is the current situation of your company? Option 1, recovery 80% to 100%. Option 2, recovery 60% to 79%. Option 3, recovery 40% to 59%. Option 4, recovery 20% to 39%. And option 5, recovery 0% to 19%. The highest percentage of vote with 33% goes to option 3, recovery 40% to 59%. Moving on to our second live polling question. Have your company reimagined and created new products or services to remain resilient? Option 1, yes. Option 2, no. And option 3, unsure. The highest percentage of votes go to option 1, yes, with a percentage of 61%. Our third question is, I intend to travel domestically when interstate is allowed within option 1, less than 2 weeks. Option 2, 2 weeks to 1 month. Option 3, 1 month to 3 months. Option 4, 3 months to 6 months. And option 5, 6 months and above. The highest percentage of votes go to option 3, 1 month to 3 months, with a rate of 31%. Moving on to our fourth live polling question. With green passport and travel bubble, I intend to travel overseas within option 1, less than 2 weeks, option 2, 2 weeks to 1 month, option 3, 1 month to 3 months, option 4, 3 months to 6 months, and option 5, 6 months and above. The highest percentage of votes with 38% goes to option 5, 6 months and above. And our final live polling question is, how do you see the changes to tourism industry in coming years? Option 1, positive, option 2, negative, and option 3, unsure. The highest percentage of votes with 63% is option 1, positive. Moving on to our next segment, which is pre-forum questions from our audiences, we have our first question from Peggy Ang. What can tourism industry players contribute towards the safety of tourists besides practicing the SOP? What can we do that Malaysia is the first choice for tourists? Ms. Rachel?
So for us, a lot of it will be to educate our suppliers and even our travelers on Malaysia, and also how to adapt to this to the situation. So we've been speaking to our suppliers on how they can ensure that their clients follow the SOP. We use our VR to showcase Malaysia and all the different destinations, so that we can sort of promote Malaysia as a safe destination, as well as a beautiful one that people should visit. So a lot of it, I would say, is more on awareness.
All right, and what about you, Mr. Ng?
As what Rachel said, education is very important. I think for us, what happened, the new product that we're going to launch for March, also we take what we call cleanliness of the safety of the people going to different places, and also staying with different premises, and also going to different location, also very important. So what happened is normally because we expect the client will come to us, say that if we travel in a small group, if we travel this place or that place, what are the things that what kind of SOP they have, and so on. So we have everything in place, and we will actually tell our client, this is what we are going to practice, and this is what the supplier going to practice, and this is what the hotel going to practice, so to actually make them comfortable. So because I think right now people are very sensitive to talk about, they want to know about how safe if I travel to this particular location. So like some of the hotels, they're also doing very good. They say that before you enter the room, you notice that there's a label being stick there. So make sure that the rooms is being sanitized. I think mentally people are okay, or they accept that, or this kind of thing that actually being practiced by hotel or the suppliers.
Yes, thank you both of you for sharing your insights. Now moving on to our second question from Joseph. Before the pandemic, there were a lot of sales promotions and discounts given by the travel and tour operators to attract customers to join a tour rather than traveling my own self like free and easy. After this pandemic, when overseas holidays are allowed, do you see the reversal impact where travelers will prefer to purchase a tour package from the operators rather than buy their own? If so, will the tour be more costly when taking into consideration the new norm of traveling? Ms. Lam?
I would say that actually all this time there are a lot of local players who are not necessarily doing the mass destinations, like KL and Penang. Actually, there are a lot of locals who are focused on smaller places like Sungai Lima, Kuala Kubu Baru.
Oh, I think we have a little bit of lag in Ms. Lam's audio.
Yeah.
I would say that on top of, apart from... Hello?
Yes, Ms. Lam, we can hear you clearly now.
Okay, just to reiterate, actually in Malaysia, there are a lot of locals who are focused not just on mass tourism products. There are a lot who are doing something within their own hometown, even, such as Sungai Lima, Kuala Kubu Baru, Gopeng, Batang Kali. And it's just that not many people know about them yet. So I would say on top of people who, on top of just going free and easy, there would be probably an avenue for them to explore all these local smaller places, take packages, but they are by hyper local guides, so that they can see a different kind of Malaysia. So in a way, yes, they would probably take up a tour package, but it's also something that all this time local guides have been doing. It's just not the mass tourism products.
All right, Mr. Ng, over to you.
I mean, for what, because holiday tours we used to actually not arranging a lot of group tours. We are more towards to FIT for our leisure, except for the corporate business. If you ask me about that, where things are actually, when actually things are getting better, will be more costly where actually travel back to the new norm? For me, I don't think so. I think certain kind of degree of discount promotion will still be given because people still want to encourage everyone to start travel. In terms of, for me, what I think that the group travel might decrease because I think people still have that in mind, say that they want to travel, they want to keep social distance. So they want to be on their own self. So they want to do everything on free and easy. Because I think right now a lot of them, a lot of people, they has been engaged with OTA, online travel agent. They tend to like to book trips themselves. They like to tend to do things themselves. This is how local. That's why they can sell their experience very differently to different kind of audiences or clients. So I don't think the price will actually increase a lot. Just that the demand for group tour could be lower down because people might say that I want to travel private, I want to travel in a small group within my friends or family. So that was something that probably a new thing for us to see where actually the new norm of traveling could happen in future.
I believe those are very vital points provided by both of our panelists. Now, moving on to our live questions from audiences, we have our first question from Eugene Fu. Can virtual tours become a potential replacement for actual tours, or are they more of a supplement or preview for planned trips, especially once COVID-19 is over?
Virtual tours definitely cannot replace physical tours. So it's definitely more of a pre-marketing tool. It's a way for people to see what it's like before they come over. It's a way to plan their trip and sort of and their itinerary. And it's also more on the awareness, letting people see what there is to do before they arrive, and being more, just generally getting to know Malaysia a lot better. So, you wouldn't see a virtual tour of a hotel and decide that that's your stay. So, it's definitely a way to help advertise and market tourism products.
And Mr. Ng?
For me, virtual tour, they give you a sneak peek. They let you to actually have a look and feel. But personally, or even some of the people, they will say that I want to go for what we call actual tours rather than I look at the virtual tour. As what Richard said, yes, for marketing purpose, the virtual tour will be a very good tool to actually stir the client interest, to let them know what they probably can do, let them have a little bit of knowledge and understand what it's about the destination. So I will have to say that it can't be replaced, but it's some sort of like how a travel agent or other people to use the virtual tool to actually improve or actually what we call to actually spice up their packages and so on.
All right. Now moving on to our next question from Kwan. What can tourism industry players contribute towards the safety of tourists besides practicing the SOP? What can we do that Malaysia is the first choice for tourists? Ms. Lam?
Okay. So I think everyone has a part to play in sharing what Malaysia has to offer. If you have, if whether it's your hometown, your where you're living, there's always something that other people don't know about, whether it's a hidden food gem or a workshop that you know of. So I would just get out there, tell people about it, spread the word. So that's what we've been doing as well with our marketplace. We've been sharing things that some even locals don't even know about it. So by educating more people about what there is to do in Malaysia, then it would help
Slums.
to
All right.
stir the interest in the coming years.
Mr. Ng?
For me, what happened? I think what happened, like right now, Tourism Malaysia, they're using a lot of social media, that because everybody right now engage with social media. Even my family, 60 or 70 of them, they also engage a lot with social media, YouTube, Facebook, and so on. So I think the social media right now, it's quite powerful. Where I think using social media to engage with people from overseas, definitely tell them that what they can do, what they can see in Malaysia would definitely attract them, wanted to visit this part of the world. Like during the pandemic, I also personally attend different kind of what we call virtual events happen in what we call South America, and it also stirred my interest that I wanted to go South America. So I think the social media actually is one of the very powerful thing. Where if let's say every one of us today we share one picture telling about how good about nasi lemak, I think like 1 or 2 weeks definitely a lot of people start asking why nasi lemak, like how Nigel did it about the fried rice thing, and sooner or later everybody know about Nigel is a Malaysian.
I believe that the society these days get adapted to social medias really fast, especially as coming generations are the young generation. So I agree with the both of you. Moving on to our next live question from Maple. With the vaccine now being distributed on a stage-to-stage basis, how long do you think it will take for tourism industry to bounce back?
I think that in this case, there's still some uncertainty in terms of when it would definitely get back to normal, or is it ever going to get back to normal? Who knows, right? So I would say that right now a lot of people are just seeing how it goes. We'll definitely see it trickling in as time goes by, starting with domestic tourism. But everyone's been saying that it's probably going to be a few years before it sort of foreign travelers come back. Probably with vaccine passports, it will be a lot faster. So I think it's more of like, let's see how this goes.
And Mr. Justin?
I totally agree. There's no timeline, there's no time frame say that how fast the tourism industry will actually bounce back to the normal. For us, I will say that probably again you need a few more years. Like looking at, let's say 2022, we actually reopen. Most probably we are looking at rebound for like 30 to 40%. It won't significantly jump over to 100%, because that's what we understand. People who actually wanted to travel once border being open or people are being vaccinated probably are those like millennial or youngster. Whereas that like those 30, 40s, they will say that, oh, I will probably want to wait another 6 months or 1 year. Those even for senior citizens, they will say that I probably want to wait for 2 years' time to actually make sure that things are actually okay, safe. Then they will actually want to travel. So I cannot say that there's a timeline. That yeah, if you ask me, even right now, I would say that there's no timeline. We have to just play by ear to see what things actually happen, and that's all.
I believe that is true, as you mentioned earlier, Mr. Ng, as our industry is kind of uncertain, right, in an uncertainty. So it's hard to actually forecast anything that's about to happen in the future. Now, moving on to our next question from Kai. Do you suggest tourism students who are graduating in 1 or 2 years to continue their career in this period, or seek a new chance with a different industry?
Don't be afraid. I mean, we all know that tourism will definitely bounce back. It's just a matter of time. And I mean, it's all about, leveraging on the new trends and technology that's coming up to, develop your skills or promote a particular product, So there's always ways to get back, get into it. It's definitely going to recover. We all know that. So hang in there.
Yeah, I think for me, not only for tourism, I think a lot of people will start asking, am I choosing the wrong course because I'm doing events, I'm doing tourism, I'm doing hospitality, because this is an industry being affected very bad right now. So for me, I was just like, because one of the Bijaya students right now also running internship with me and under myself, he also came and talked to me, said that, oh, Mr. Justin, can you share a little bit? Do you think that I still want to, after my internship, can I still go into this industry and start looking for a job and so on? I said, yeah. I said, as long as any places that actually can accept you, you can gain your experience, learn things a few years from this industry. Sooner or later, when you jump to other places, you notice that, wow, this is as industry is not only talk about travel agent, not only talk about event, not only talk about a hotel. There's even more and more related tourism things that you can actually explore. So I will always say that, encourage students, say that, yes, if you have passion in travel line, or you want to be a travel person, or you want to fly here and there, I would say that, yes, please continue this. Even myself also until now, stay hope things are getting better soon.
I believe that is true. So to our attendee Kai, please don't lose hope. The next question is, as we all know that CMCO and RMCO and SOP, we are not able to travel across states. How do you convince and attract local in that state to have a holiday within the state?
For us, we've been creating virtual tours. Say for something like the KL Walk, we've actually worked with the KL guides to develop a solution for them where they can still conduct their tours but online. So by using technology, we can still promote different destinations in Malaysia, and encourage them to go when the time is right. And all this, the rules are changing every now and then. So just take a look and see how it goes.
Mr. Ng, over to you. We don't really convince the client where, let's say, the interstate are actually not open. I think most probably, a lot of clients right now, what they intend to do is they will come to us and say, Justin, what are the things that you can actually offer us? Because right now, interstate travel are actually not allowed. We see what are the options that we can actually share to them, the kind of things that we can actually share to them to actually make them to travel, because people are still hoping. I mean, for us right now, I think we still have clients that actually come in and actually say that, oh, I want to buy to Langkawi, I want to buy Penang. So we are still selling because they are putting high hope that interstate travel will actually open very soon.
All right. This next question is directed to you, Mr. Ng. We noticed that holiday tours and travel webpage have been promoting travel and hotel packages. Other than this, what are the other ways that you use to survive the tourism industry?
I think just all the sharing I have is what happened is we keep ourselves very lean in terms of the entire organization. For us, what happened, we still keep ourselves to actually sell all kind of different travel packages. We actually talk to different suppliers because what happened to our production throughout so many years, we actually talk to them. Definitely, we're not asking. We have different commission scheme. We have different level of commission that are actually given by different hotel. So that's actually keep us to have a higher profit. So and also keep us survive. So for us right now, what happened? We see that we try to actually pre-sell things for 2022 in terms of either overseas travel or domestic travel. We try to pre-sell all these things to keep our cash flow running. So this is what we are doing right now.
All right, please give me a moment as I wait for more live questions. All right, we have one from Xiao Katong. So the government imposed crossing state only allow for your packages at the moment. Do you expect the spike in the sales of your packages?
Crossing state and what for packages?
Would you like me to repeat the question, sir? Mr. Ng, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yeah. So the question is about government imposed crossing state only allowed for your packages at the moment.
Yep.
I don't quite understand what does that mean. Do you expect the yeah? If let's say definitely interstate is actually allowed, definitely the spike of the business actually will come in for certain packages. This I will agree. Yes.
All right. Now, okay. Our next question is from Vincent C. This is directed to Ms. Lam. What is your desired virtual tour if you are able to experience one, and why?
Well, for me, I like seeing. We have some virtual tours where we actually capture the intangible heritage, such as local tradition, local artisans who make joss sticks or wow bulang. So for me, it's more of capturing all these skills that people may not see in the future, and so it's considered a bit like a kind of heritage, and preserving for the future generation, but through digital means. So I would say anything that's related to culture for me.
All right. Moving on to our next question from Ku John Lung. I apologize to this attendee if I'm pronouncing your name wrongly. What do you think of travel agency coming up with selling over international product via online? Do you see the possibility of travel agency in Malaysia selling our local product to overseas? Starting with Mr. Lam.
Those product, is that about the local packages or any kind of like souvenirs product or so on? I think this is the question that I think Rachel, you're also a bit confused about that, right?
Yep, maybe a bit more clarification.
Yeah.
All right, give me a moment. Probably
because I believe that some of the travel agents, they're also selling some of the goodies, so on, from overseas. So probably this might actually lead the question.
Please give us a moment as we get a clarification from our attendee.
Yeah. I want to answer one of the Nudiana Wong question. So there's a new norm coming up called revenge tourism, whereby many predict that once border open, people will take revenge and travel, even though they say concerned with the SOP. I like this particular statement. Yes, somebody will say that it's a revenge travel. I mean, this is a possibility we're going to see very soon. Even right now, I think people are revenge going to shopping mall. If you're going to shopping mall right now, I think a lot of people queue up with LV, Gucci, Prada, Coach, because they have a lot of money with them. So probably this is something for them to revenge that once border open, yes, the revenge travel could happen. Yes, they might probably concerned about the SOP, but I will say that once the border open, people start looking each other, start traveling, start going out, I think people will start forget about what is about SOP soon.
All right. Our technical team is currently processing the other live questions. Please give us a moment. All right, this question is pretty long, so please get ready. From Jake Lee, just interested to know, in 2013, a Japanese travel agent launched a travel package which they will bring traveler teddy bear to travel around the city and take pictures for the teddy bear. Something like you can't travel? No problem, teddy bear will travel for you. So will you consider doing this as a side business or something like this as a PR for the current situation?
I mean, for us, we're doing VR, so that's the teddy bear, I would say. So some people who can't travel at the moment, or maybe they don't have the means to travel, they can use virtual tours to explore the destination whether it's on their own, self-guided, or with a guide doing a live guided tour. So I mean that's one of the ways.
Yeah, hi Jake, long time no see. You know me probably, yes. He's my student. So what happened? Yes, we are right now talking to different bodies and different supplier. We want to bring certain experiences, certain things. Definitely, we're looking at to creating some events to actually stir the interest. We thought it as soft selling to actually stir the client interest, to prepare them, give them some knowledge, tell them that beside probably like a career, beside you go to Seoul, what are the destinations you can do, what are the things that you can do. Yeah, this is something that probably we are, right now we are looking at. So it might come probably another 6 months or 3 to 6 months times.
All right. That
Also,
would be
another thing,
sorry, yes,
just,
Islam, please.
sorry, just to answer Yongxin's question earlier about whether travel agencies in Malaysia would sell local products to overseas.
Yeah. What do you think of travel agency?
So actually previously...
Let me just read out the question.
Yeah.
What do you think of travel agency coming up with selling over international product via online?
Yep.
Over to you, Islam.
So basically before the pandemic, what we've been doing with the marketplace is to promote very local activities to travelers around the world, and all these workshop owners, they don't actually have a platform, so it's not like a mass tourism product. So it's something that has been done, but probably in Malaysia not as many people are aware of that yet compared to overseas. And definitely I would hope that in the future there's more avenue for them to promote it as it is. It's actually a kind of local product, tourism product that we as Malaysians can share with the world.
Do you have anything to add up, Mr. Ang?
No. Because this question also a bit here and there. So for me, it's just like, yeah, I think a lot of people were actually, travel agent in Malaysia, we are not promoting things through what we call the offline channel. I think right now a lot of travel agents also engage with, again, social media, or they come up with different websites, or they work with different marketing agency or different party. So to sell Malaysia, because I don't see Malaysia Malaysia travel agent such an old school people. I think with everybody now with social media and so on, they would definitely want to push the country in the social media platform. So even if they want to sell it to China, because even China people are now understand more things about Malaysia through YouTube, not YouTube, to their so-called China YouTube and so on. So I think Malaysia travel agent definitely will do this to actually sell to overseas.
All right, thank you, panelists. Now I would like to conclude this live question session. We have now arrived at the end of our session. I would like to request for each of our panelists to share with us your final thoughts on our topic today, reshaping the demand of tourism in the new norm and beyond. Starting with Ms. Lam, please share with us your thoughts.
Well, during this pandemic, everyone is experiencing the same thing. It's a big challenge for everyone, and tourism is definitely one of the biggest hit industries. But the key thing is to sort of think out of the box, do something different, try and adapt using what your core strengths are, and don't give up.
All right. What about you, Mr. Ng? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think this pandemic, everyone suffered. I think a lot of industry also suffered. So I think what happened for us right now, what everyone do is we try to keep ourselves lean in terms of the organization or in terms of all kind of expenses. I think definitely we need to adapt to the new norm that we have. I think we try to keep up ourselves differently. We cannot use the same method as the pre-pandemic how people's work. So I think this is something more important for us to try to be more versatile and keep positive, think positive, and also, we have to work together closely to actually bring the tourism back to Malaysia or even to overseas very, very soon. Yep.
Thank you, Ms. Lam, and thank you, Mr. Ng. I speak for all of us when I say this session has been very beneficial and fruitful. On behalf of the organizing committee, we would like to thank our panelists, Ms. Rachel Lam and Mr. Justin Ng, for taking their time to join us today. In particular, I would like to thank all of the audience here for their participation. Sit back and relax. Let's take flight to the next segment of our forum. Thank you.